Alrighty, g'day everybody, it's the Doggy! It is time, finally, for the next installment of the AC/DC Album Collector Series. Just a bit of sad news before we get into today's main attraction. You may recall, and may have heard just recently, that this past Thursday, my dog of about 8 years, Kane, who has made an audible appearance at least once on one of my videos, tragically had to be put down just last Thursday. He'd gotten very, very sick, and unfortunately, it was to the point where he was not eating. We don't know exactly what the problem was, but unfortunately, we could not afford to do any tests or anything like that, so he's had to be put to sleep, unfortunately, so there's no more dog in this family. Anyway, let's move on to the subject of today's video. It is, of course, 1986's AC/DC album, the soundtrack to Stephen King's film Maximum Overdrive. I'm talking, of course, about Who Made Who, with this rather generic-looking front cover, but it's still an excellent album. This is here, the original 1986 Australian LP. Featuring 9 songs, of course. 3 new songs, Who Made Who, and 2 instrumentals, of course, that being DT and Chase the Ace, as well as 6 other songs, 5 featuring Brian Johnson, and of course 1 featuring Bon Scott. Here's the label side 1. Typical Al Productions red label from that era. Don't come across that particular pressing very often, but I do have it, as do I own this next pressing. This one's from a little bit later on. This one's from roughly the following year, from 1987. As you can see, the copyright information is now exclusively on the top half of the label. And side 2 here. Okay, that is those pressings. I don't have very many copies of this album, so there will be a couple of bonuses. Let's pull out the next one. This is the remastered version of the album. Just show off this. It's very dirty because I don't tend to clean the newer ones because I don't really play them. Okay, those are those. So, we're going to add a couple of extra bonuses to make this video a little longer. Who Made Who is one of the very few albums that I own that actually I own the singles of in both 7 and 12-inch format. I actually have 2 copies of Who Made Who single. This is just the non-picture sleeve version. I do have a picture sleeve as well, but I thought I'd just show this version only. Who Made Who and Guns for Hire, Live from Detroit, 1983. And of course, the other single off the album, and I've just accidentally grabbed too many from this sleeve here, is of course You Shook Me All Night Long, with the screen cap of Brian in the bathtub from the promo clip. And of course, we've got the B-side, She's Got Balls, from the Bondo Lifesaver in mid-1977 with Bon on vocals. Let's have a look at the label. And of course, this live performance of She's Got Balls is actually edited on the 7-inch. For those who have either not aware or not heard the 7-inch edit, you can actually hear the full performance itself on Bonfire. Basically, the intro's been edited, there's a bit of feedback, and Bon asking the audience if they've brought their balls with them is not present on the 7-inch, as well as the majority of Angus's guitar solo in the middle has also been edited out, and I think the ending's also been edited too. Anyway, here is the 12-inch of Who Made Who, with the extended collector's mix, which, of course, was only on the deluxe edition of Backtracks in 2009. The images are pretty much the same across the 7 and 12 inch of this, but I thought I'd just show off both anyway. Here's the A side. And of course, the B side, which of course is also available on Backtracks. Definitely an excellent live performance. Also my favourite Brian Johnson era AC/DC song. And of course we have the 12 inch of You Shook Me All Night Long. Previously owned by a couple named Jody and Wayne. Don't know who they are, so never find out. They ended up with their copy. Either way, here's the back cover. And of course, this also has another live take of You Shook Me All Night Long from some time. It says on Backtracks that that version of You Shook Me performed live is from Detroit. But to me, it doesn't sound like it. Especially because I think Brian's vocals have been overdubbed. They don't sound as raw as they should. They sound a bit too clean and polished. So I'm starting to think this other live version of You Shook Me that's on this 12 inch and on Backtracks has been studio tampered. Whereas I don't think She's Got Balls was, though. Either way, let's move on to the cassettes now. I've got at least 5 here. Let's start off with the original 1986 Australian cassette here. Not in the best condition, unfortunately, and the case is pretty crackified. Let's show off the J card in its full view. As used by Alberts, this is the first AC/DC cassette in Australia to feature a barcode around that time. And the cassette itself, bit of a lighter shade of grey than what was used in the last couple of years, but you'll see the return of the blue text. Okay, next one is again for my mother's collection. Again, many that were unfortunately ripped to pieces. This one is a white, and most of the text is starting to wear off on this, unfortunately. Side 2 looks pretty bad as well. For those about to rock, it's almost lost its track number. Okay, the last of the Australian ones I have, I'd say dates to 1987 or 88 or so. And that's this version here. Alright. Got a couple of European cassettes in amongst here as well. I think this one is possibly... I think this could be the original 1986 generic European cassette. Let's show the full J card. We'll show both sides. Oops, accidentally dropped it. And of course, you've got the info on the inside here. It doesn't look as generic as the Australian one, which is a good thing. I believe this original cassette actually does have the remix of Shaky Foundations, as does the Australian cassette. Got a nice red tape leader there too. Alright, put that one away. Do have a second European cassette. This one's slightly identical. I think this one could be from the 1994 series. I think this one's got a slightly redesigned J card. As you can see, it's fairly flat looking and got the same info on the inside. Unfortunately, the text on this one is completely worn off. You can barely tell what's on it. As you can see, as I said, the text is worn off. This one does have the fly on the wall version of Shake Your Foundations. And as you can see, even side 2 is missing its text, unfortunately. Alright. And that just leaves the CDs. Now we move on to what is the original Japan for Australia CD from... It's said to be from 86, but I'm still thinking it could be from also January 87, this particular one. And you've got the Japanese album code on the back, CDP 7462992. This particular CD is not the best sounding version of the album. Inside the cover, you've got the images from the back cover of the LP. This particular CD is not the best. Unfortunately, it's missing the opening cymbal crash of DT, and the mastering of For Those About to Rock is much quieter than the rest of the album. I found this particular disc a massive disappointment overall when I bought it last year. Okay, next one is from 1989 from the CBS Distronic series. Slightly redesigned back cover, album code 465253. Inside cover is pretty much the exact same as the original, so disc itself is generic enough as it is. By the way, both the original and this disc do have the remix of Shake Your Foundations. Whereas it's well known that the Atlantic issues of the album on CD between 1986 and 2001 all used the Fly on the Wall version for some reason. Here is the 1995 Australian picture disc version, which uses the same mastering as the CBS. Here's the back cover, 47700932. And we also have the insert, which folds out to show the lyrics, of course, of all 7 songs with the lyrics. And For Those About to Rock on the back there. And a few of the images from the LP back cover. And you won't fold over, will you? There we go. Just try and gently put this back in, if I can. Either way, the disc itself is a fairly generic looking one. Just a picture of Angus. As I said, the mastering of that is the same as the CBS version. Anyway, the last one is the 2003 version, which has the same booklet as the current series of CDs. And, of course, the current disc. Okay, that is it for this video. You know what to do now. Leave a like and comment down below about this excellent album. If you're new to the channel, be sure to press the subscribe button. That's only if you wish to do so, that is. But until next time, this is the Dog Owl saying have an excellent week, everybody. And we shall see you again.